Hey, everybody. Welcome to Don't Make Me Come Back There. We are a funny podcast about family. My name is Dustin Nickerson. I'm a stand-up comedian, the host of the aforementioned podcast, and alongside me in our state-of-the-art recording studio above Public Square Coffee in downtown La Mesa, California, is my lovely wife and co-host, Melissa Nickerson. Overall, great gal.
Hey.
She drank her drink
I sure did.
an hour ago. Also, Andy Ilara is here. We're just mouth trumpeting all day, all morning. Get into it, everybody. Thanks for tuning into our little podcast that could hear. Backseaters, welcome back.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a lot to get into. I don't even know why I tell people what the goal is, because I don't know. It's a goal, but it's not really even a goal. It's if we can't think of anything, this is what we'll get to.
If we had to, we could.
But Melissa and I have been entertaining each other on and off air. We're really off air for 18 and a half years, and now on hair for a year and a half. So it's not hard for us to figure out something to talk about. Like, for example, today, driving very exciting morning in domestic bliss. So I'm a very relatable comedian. I drive my kids to school, man. We got, this morning we got up, and Tuesday is always my favorite day of the week. This Tuesday is favorite day because I love doing this pod with you. I don't love early release. I just take them for that extra hour because it's you get your kid at 1:30. Your youngest doesn't go to bed till 8:39. That's a lot of time to fill. There's 15 minutes of homework in there. You're like, this didn't fill up. But, if there is a night that we're more likely, to stay up and watch a show and have a drink or something like that, it's Tuesdays, not Mondays, because Mondays we have the pod. But so I wake up today, and we have to take 2 kids to school, 3 kids to school, 3 kids to 2 different schools. And the reason Joel's not driving is because we have to drop his car off at Midas, the car doctor. The car doctor.
Yeah.
Yikes! I can't even. The mechanic. Big yikes!
It's a joke.
No, I'm making fun of. No, I'm making fun of myself there. If there's any question of whether or not I'm about to get taken advantage of, I couldn't remember the word mechanic.
The car doctor.
The car doctor.
You're also going to drop off his kid.
Exactly. Yeah. Listen, we're early on in the podcast.
It's been making this noise.
That's roughly it.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. That's the old Regan bit about them, the mechanic making you make the noise.
So we took a video.
I took a video because it's the modern era.
We emailed them the video.
Because you took them in, and if I understand that if the noise doesn't recreate, then they're like, I don't know.
They're like, it's fixed.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And so I took the video and I dropped them in. But anyways, I'm dropping Gloria off, and Gloria's all upset that she's having some bad hair day or whatever, and I'm like, it looks the same, but I'm not going to say that. And she's like, I wish I could get up later, And at first I thought it was like a high school thing. Like, because Joel gets to get up a little later. Yeah. And then I realized she's complaining about how much longer it takes as a girl to get ready, which is fair. Mm-hmm. And then I reminded her that her mother got up at 5:45 every day of high school.
I remember that today because I got a WhatsApp phone call at 5:45 this morning. Mm-hmm. And I was like,
snuck through the sleep settings somehow, because it came in through
spam. But I did because high school started at 7:35, and I lived about 25 minutes away.
Yeah.
So
plus parking,
and then you straighten the hair.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a parking lot, so we parallel parked and walked in the rain to our high school uphill.
Mel looked good in high school. Good. It's not creepy for me to say that because she was my girlfriend.
So we kept it.
She's got a senior shot. She's wearing pink. She's got a little hand here.
Yeah, they're like just staring to this camera.
Her young Louie.
Like, I will.
Yeah. Ooh, I just got noise back in that ear. It's a miracle. It's fixed. It's like Midas. I don't have to. I'm gonna
noise.
I'm gonna cancel my order for the new ones then. It is.
So high school and middle school start later now.
Yeah,
which is great. You don't have to get up at 5:45 unless you have a paper out.
Yeah, it is a shame, because in some ways, and not for everybody, but in some regards, like you never look better in high school, and you also never think you look worse. Right. Mm-hmm. But that's not entirely true because some people look a little better. Yeah, you're more insecure. Is there any amount of you guys that misses high school at all? Like, do you wish you could go back? There are elements that were great. Like what you want to tell your kids is it's never going to be easier to make friends than right now.
You never spend more time with friends than in high school.
Yep.
And depending if you get a dorm with people you like, that's also a
and it's not like coworkers, because coworkers can let like coworkers, if they do it's harder to be if you have a friend in school who does a bad job in school, that doesn't affect you. But a coworker that does a bad job, that does affect you. So it's easier to dislike your coworkers.
Unless it's a group project. But no, I think personally, like high school is not a microcosm for life.
Yeah.
Does that makes sense? Like,
it's unlike any other time of life.
And so in that sense, like, you can't really understand real life until you're in it. But it felt, in high school, it felt like this is real life.
Yeah.
And this is what my future is going to be like. And all I got to do is study for these tests, Yeah. And you're like, no.
Right.
That's not accurate.
It's true.
Show up to class on time.
Yeah.
No, that's not how life is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like I'm constantly crashing existential identity crisis. I mean, which feels like high school constantly. So
yeah.
I don't. I think I probably miss the simplicity of that stuff. All it was homework and making friends. But I think it was like always like, who am I? Well, and then the beauty of the fun of that was learning new music and learning new things. That was great. I love that. And I don't do that as much now.
No, you don't have the time to like devote yourself to like a skill or a craft or a area of study like you do in high school, because you're like, well, maybe you could really nerd out on this and get really good at XYZ.
Yeah. But you're also not at a point where you like really appreciate learning much in high school.
No, not at all.
You're absorbing a lot of facts and information, but you're not sitting down like, this is a great book. Oh my gosh. Tale of Two Cities is so good. I can see why it's a classic.
I did read most of the books I was supposed to read in high school.
I didn't say you didn't read them. I'm just saying appreciate them.
But I appreciate them now.
Yes.
That I read them.
Yeah.
But our school does about 2 back to school nights a year and 2 parent shadow days, which is insane because parents go and walking the halls between passing period in middle school or high school is like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy to do it. Like with a crowded hallway with teenagers, it like really gets you out of your comfort zone. So I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful they do it. Because like you just see kids walking into school and you remember the feelings that come with a day at school. You're like, whew, that's rough.
I think high school is an insane concept. It's like if you put a bunch of toddlers in jail.
In jeans.
Yeah. It's in it. I'm saying the prisoners aren't there as well. I'm just saying if the jails were full of toddlers,
yes,
that would be high school. It's wild. It's just complete anarchy.
It's also just the last it's like the final leg of childhood. In the sense that you're like you don't get a school lunch after this. You don't have teachers bugging you. No one's gonna tell you to clean up your trash.
Right.
Or don't forget a coat. Like it's the end of it.
Right. But and they are holding, and that's
pushing your chair.
Well, and I think that's one of the craziest things about high school is that one of the craziest things about high school is if it's a big school, there's 500 different kids having 500 different experiences there.
Yeah,
like some kids, these are the best days of their lives, and others are dropping out, and others, they're anxious and they're worried, and those kids are just sitting next to each other in Spanish class. Like, is it usted?
Yeah,
and you're like, that kid's high right now. That kid's on his 5th year here. That kid's going to Yale. That kid's like the quarterback, like so that kid's depressed. That kid's twitchy, like it's, and they're all just there. They dress different. That kid's wearing makeup. That kid's wearing a different kind of makeup. That kid's overweight. That kid has an eating disorder. Like, and they all just throw them in and they'll all get along. It's an insane. That's what I mean. They're toddlers in jail. It's you just throw this, and they have nothing in common. They all have different biologies. They have, and they all, the one thing that they all have in common is that they're all worried about what this other person thinks about them.
Yeah.
You know, it's an insane. It's wild.
Yep. More security.
Anyways, I got some upcoming shows, everybody. This weekend I'll be at Dr. Grin's Comedy Club, Grand Rapids, Michigan, February 22nd through 24th. Next month, Spokane, Seattle, sold out. Maybe some tickets will open. I don't know. April, I go to Syracuse, Rutherford, New Jersey. This one's on sale now. Los Angeles, Hollywood Improv, part of the Netflix is a Fest. Netflix joke. Comedy, you'll get it. Netflix is a Fest joke. You get it. May 5th. Check that out. Fort Collins, Des Moines, Naples, Tampa, Dania Beach, San Diego, Rosemont, Chicago, Huntsville, Nashville, Charlotte. More on sale coming soon. We had a question in regards to that. This is from Scott. He's a patron and a friend of the pod. Hey, Nickersons, I have a small request. I've seen the post about the Netflix is a joke appearance coming up from you, Aaron Weber, etc. Could you explain, either in the pod or a reel, however, why is this so significant of those who may think, okay, cool, I guess, but obviously don't understand how big of a deal it is?
What do you think?
Then he said he's coming to Huntsville, which is great. I'll see you there. Which is was just on an article I read named the number one place to for families to live, Huntsville, Alabama. It's great. Nice. Huntsville's great.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very cool. NASA's there. It's a cool city. It's awesome. It is. Okay, so on the one hand, it is not a big deal.
Everyone just announced on one day.
Yeah, they tell you, sorry, I burped into the mic. Sorry, not sorry. Here's the thing. It's Netflix. This is the second one they've done. It's this gigantic festival. And if you're not a part of it, there's a little bit of FOMO. You want to be a part of it. And, last time I did it, I was there solely as like an opener and a support. And this time I got offered to headline my own show, which is great.
Little showcase.
Yeah, it was fine. Yeah. It was fine. Yeah. It is. Listen, you want to do, if Netflix is the, I don't know. They're the
top dogs.
They are the top dog. Yeah, there are Johnny Carson these days. So if Netflix is doing something, you want to be involved and you want to get invited, which we did here. I didn't even submit. They came to me, which was great. And
it's 2 weekends. It's the beginning of May.
It's a ton of comedians. So many of your friends are there. You just want to be a part of it.
Really big comics are doing the Hollywood Bowl.
I mean, there's
like 7 shows at the Hollywood Bowl.
I mean, Sebastian, Nate, Gaffigan and Seinfeld are all doing a show. That's one show at the Bowl. Of course, it's sold out, and so I mean, there's
Taylor's doing a bowl show.
Yeah, what it is a lot of your friends are there, and it's a big festival, and there's a ton of good shows and a lot of fun stuff going on. There's like Will Smith, the catcher for the Dodgers, is doing like a fundraiser event, and he checked out my stuff and invited me to do the show. So it's just like, it's a lot of stuff like that. It's a big festival. A lot of people are in town. It's like these big music festivals. It's kind of our Lollapalooza. Is that what's the big one now? What's our biggest?
Coachella?
Coachella's our biggest one now. That was not me not remembering the name of Coachella. That was me genuinely remember what's the biggest festival right now. It's probably Coachella, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's still Coachella.
It was Lollapalooza there for a minute, right?
Yeah, back in like 1998.
Yeah, back when I cared about music. Where
was that one?
It toured, didn't it?
Yeah,
it was in Chicago for a while. Yeah,
that makes sense.
It was Coachella. I have zero interest in a Coachella. Never. I mean, when Rage was on, I was like, okay, maybe.
Well, early 2000s, you would have loved Coachella. It was all the bands you like now.
Yeah.
Like it was all the more folksy, like singer-songwriters. They were.
The beauty of a music festival is you get to see a bunch of bands.
Listen, I'm not
bad environments though. It's not that fun.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've never been to a music festival, not one time.
No.
Well, and I probably won't.
We didn't have a normal 20s.
Well, I just also, that's to your thing. I was like, I actually don't want to see a lot of bands. And I know what festivals are like as a performer. They're usually not that fun. They are fun for sometimes, but it's more, it's usually not an ideal. Like I see the post and you're like, that's not an ideal environment for, and it's not going to be the band's favorite thing because they're not going to be performing for all their fans. They're going to be like all the people who bought, Yeah, right?
You're essentially putting yourself up against nature. You're like, here's an idea. Let's put a bunch of things that are not natural up against nature and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. It's how you get a Woodstock 99, all that kind of stuff.
Rain, mud, fire.
Corn.
It's been there every festival.
Yeah, that's true.
All of the elements.
Corn ripped so hard at Woodstock 99. It's great. I haven't. So, anyways, this one will be different though because I'm just in the Hollywood Improv and it's my people and
you can't buy one ticket and see all the shows. You have to.
Is that true?
I don't think so. I haven't seen anything that said, "Here's the pass."
I mean, that ticket would cost $5,000.
Yeah, there's no way.
Here's a free hotel in LA.
Venues, so it's the only way the venues make money.
Yeah, so far I'm on 2 shows. My headlining show, which is I want people to come to, but then the other one, the Dodgers one, is at the Orpheum, which is great. Mm-hmm. I've never performed there. We saw Damien Rice there, but I've not performed there. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I have a weird thing in LA that I've performed at like the clubs and then these big theaters and not the mid-level venues. So, I mean, Orpheum's big, but like I'm going to do Orpheum and then what's the one we did with Taylor? Where all the Broadway shows are.
Pantages?
The Pantages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. On the Strip. Yeah.
And then I bet we'll go, depending on the times and stuff, I bet we'll go to like, I want to go to the one at the Bowl with Gaffigan and all those guys, but... The ticket to Dustin Nickerson is much cheaper. Check it out. So those are upcoming shows. Check out our Patreon. Patreon hang is this Sunday, right?
Yes, it is. 5 p.m. Pacific time.
There you go. Check it out, everyone. Check out the new Facebook group, all that kind of stuff. Well, we're 20 minutes in. We haven't gotten to our weekend recap. I didn't have a gigantic weekend recap. I was in Dayton Wednesday through... if you want to know road life. So Monday... Okay, so Tuesday...
We recorded the pod Tuesday, and then we went to L.A.
We went to L.A. because Taylor had her Netflix premiere party, which was very fun. Yeah. We went to that. We stayed up there that night. We drove home. I dropped you off at home. I went to the airport. Yes. I flew to Dayton. So that morning, and then that
was Valentine's Day. Yep.
That was Valentine's Day. I woke up in L.A. I ended up going to sleep in Cincinnati. But in between there, I went to San Diego and Atlanta. Grabbed a little. If you want to know the difference, I told you this already. The Cincinnati airport is technically in Kentucky, and the night before we were in LA, very LA party, vegan tacos, vegan cookies, garbage. Those cookies were awful. Everything else was fine, but it was a very healthy LA type party. Yes. And then I go to Kentucky, and I kid you not, I had a woman check me, and I was like, "Can I get a couple of waters?" And she's like, "Yeah, you can get this." She goes, "I was like 3 or 4." She goes, "You must love water." And I go, she goes, "I hate water." And I was like, I went from LA to Kentucky. I went from vegan tacos to I hate water in 2 flights. Anyways,
it's crazy up there.
It's wild, and I'm somewhere in between. I'm somewhere in between. I hate water and vegan tacos. That's where I would like to be as a human, as a moderate. I did 2 shows in Dayton. There was a church out there that we did like a fundraiser for a little league, and then and the next day was like a married conference. Couples night. It was a couples night.
Date night.
In Miamisburg, Ohio. Stayed in Dayton. They're like, "You sure you don't want to stay in Miamisburg?" I was like, "I'm so positive that I'm going to go stay in the bright lights of Dayton." Dayton has a pressed coffee. Very good. Very good. They've got the Oregon district. Walk around there. It's cute. It's nice. I was last in Dayton when I was there performing I was across the street from the minor league baseball stadium that we did Fully Loaded at.
With Bert.
Yep. Yeah. So, and there was a guy who was like, "Oh, I saw you at Bert. I can't believe you're here." And I was like, "Yeah, those are very..." I mean, I told him, we're both very versatile, that you went to that show and you went to this show. You know, we've got a variety of interests here, and those were good. And then I came home, and we had a very just strange, kind of different weekend for us. That I was home on a Saturday.
Super weird.
Taylor had a couple shows at Mic Drop Comedy Club here. Mm-hmm. You forgot about those, huh?
I forgot about those.
Yeah, so we hung out with Tay. Tay's working out her new hour.
Mm-hmm. She did 4 shows.
She did 4 shows. I got a couple new bits that I was working on. Mm-hmm. It's fun. I love that club. I'll be there in June. Buy tickets sooner than later. We're pretty sure all those shows will sell out. Mm-hmm. And then the next day, well, first off, I want to say...
I went to a volleyball tournament.
You went to a volleyball tournament that day? Mm-hmm. You went to a volleyball tournament. I am in the throes of winter travel right now. Any travel December through February is very nerve-wracking. Mm-hmm. So I did the snow drive to the, to the venue.
So Friday night you changed your flight.
Friday night I changed my flight to take a later flight. Exactly. Because you don't want that early morning flight.
Yeah, it was a whole day.
I kept telling you not to pick me up. Okay, let's talk about this real quick. It's an interesting thing. You like to come get me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I like to get picked up.
Yes.
But sometimes I feel like you feel like I'm telling you, because I'll be like, you don't have to come get me. I feel like you're like, I'm coming to get you. And I'm like, it would be so much easier for you to, I feel like I'm doing you a favor.
The times that you tell me not, you're like, I'm taking an Uber, don't come get me. I'm on the way.
That's never happened.
No,
that's a straw man.
On Saturday.
No.
Yes,
I did not say I was taking an Uber.
No, you called me.
Yes.
I was driving, and you're like, I'm already ready. I'll just take an Uber.
Yeah,
and
I didn't say I'm taking an Uber. That's different.
No, you've done that before.
Yeah,
you've canceled on me, and
I don't think that's true. Okay.
Because you think it's nice.
Yes,
to just be like, I'm already ready. I'll just do this, and I'm like, I need 20 minutes
to get out of this house.
Like mentally get to the airport. Like it's a break.
Yep.
And then I get to talk to you for 20 minutes before all the kids start talking to you.
That's fair. That's fair. I understand.
And I've been talking to children all weekend.
Yes.
Or a week.
It's just, you were a block from our house and I had my bags.
Yeah. Well, that was.
And I was like, hey. And we were pretty tight on time because I had the shows to get to that night.
Yeah.
And so I was like, but.
Well, that's because you changed your flight.
Yeah, that is true. And we landed a little early. It did work out.
I get it. But
what do you want me to do? Do you want me to always just assume you're coming to get me unless you ask me to take an Uber? Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm. I don't like changing plans.
That's true.
And I'm already driving. Anyway, so it's not 100% selfless.
Yeah.
I want the mental break.
Listen, we also got a coffee. We had time. It ended up being fine. One of my favorite things about Mel is Mel will rally for a late night thing. We'd both been up since about 5, 6 a.m.
I got up at 5:30.
This is my favorite Mel London story. Is the day Mel flies into London. We have shows that night. We have 2 shows that night, and we're like, hey. You can just go to bed if you want. Like, it's totally fine. And then you had the runner go get you some McDonald's coffee. Yeah. And you're like, no, I'm staying up for these shows. And I was like, hell yeah. That's what I want. I want you to stay up, but I can't force that. Plus, that was the best thing for you to do anyways, to try and
get on. Like
that's what they say is try and soldier on that first day, So the McCafe in London, and you did it that night too. I
did, yeah. I was in the green room with Taylor. You were on stage, and I pounded the second half of my iced coffee. I saved it. I took the ice out. I saved it.
That's the key when you're saving that iced coffee.
What time did the second show start? 9?
9:40. Yeah, I was late. Yeah.
I'm drinking 10 p.m. coffee.
Well, you don't get the push of going on stage because that'll wake you up every time.
And then I could sit in the showroom for Tay's whole new hour.
Yeah.
And not like fall asleep.
Right.
Just because I'm exhausted.
Right. Not because it's boring. You're not saying it.
No, but just early morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it worked out. Well,
you needed your energy because the next day, so we have a very strange next day. This never happens, that I wake up at home on a Sunday morning and you leave because we offered Claire a couple options for her birthday. We're like, hey, you can do a traditional, have some friends over, birthday party type thing, some gifts, or if you want, you can do 2 friends to a hotel in Irvine, and a trip to the high tea at the Hello Kitty Cafe. Yeah. There, have you been?
Mm-hmm.
I know about it.
Yeah. It's hard to get in.
So what happens was I'm at the volleyball tournament, and I've spent a month trying to get this reservation.
Hard to get these, yeah.
And this time of year, it's impossible, and you really have to book it exactly 2 months in advance. And I was told that I'd probably get in, but table of 4, so I'm calling, and I don't even know what I'm going to say if I get through. And then I have you start calling on your layover. Yeah. And you finally got through and talked him into it. And so you tell me does this time work? And I'm like, oh my gosh, because the moms are like, when do we drop off? When do we pick up? When's the reservation? And at this point, I'm like, we're gonna have to go to the cafe, the coffee cart, wait an hour. These sad 9-year-olds who've been promised.
I told you, I did lie to you. I told you that the only reservation was 3:15. There was an 11:30, but I wanted you to stay up late.
Well, that's the thing is, they're like, if you show up at 10 a.m., you might get in. Yeah. As a standby. And I was like, that means I have to get up. I have to leave at 7:30 with these 3 9-year-olds and park and walk. And so then I got a massive migraine at the volleyball tournament. I was seeing stars and my vision was blurry. Yeah. I was so stressed out about this reservation. It wasn't. I can't drive yet. Yeah, I had to let it wear off a bit so I could drive. Well,
it wasn't just reservation. It was your daughter's party. It was her birthday thing. This was
the thing,
and it was. We have a hotel. I also didn't tell you I had booked the wrong hotel.
Oh,
did I tell you that?
There's a bunch right around the mall.
Total mess up.
And you always drive to the wrong one, and then you're like, "Where is it?"
No, way worse, Mel. Way worse. I had booked you the Marriott by the airport.
We knew the plan, but it was not foolproof.
You guys got a 4:00 flight out of John Wayne International? If so, this is the...
So taking... So the
way better than the Irvine one, that Spectrum Marriott. That's a very nice Marriott. That was the whole point.
The high tea was amazing with the girls. Claire was savoring it,
what was
and
the
her friends' reactions. She's smiling a little sheepishly, and she goes, "It's just so cool to see you guys experiencing this." And
our little empath.
She's like, "It's nothing better than with friends and family." And, because she had experienced it in June, so she kind of knew what to expect. Right. They didn't want to know about it.
There's a real wow factor to it, right? Yeah.
100%. And they were trying food they don't usually like. Yeah. There's some picky eaters. And they had a blast. Great. They each pounded 2 strawberry lemonades. Yeah. Tons of desserts. Yes. They had a blast.
Meanwhile, I was with a friend of mine, Mothership. Do you know Mothership?
South Park?
Do you not know Mothership?
No. Yes. It's not.
Yes. Not Mothership Comedy Club in Austin. Type it in right now. Yes.
You have a cooler friend.
I have one. I have a new thing that because we want to get back Mothership South Park. Just type that in. A new thing that Andy's going to appreciate. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Do you not know about this?
How do you not know about Mothership?
I don't think I know about this.
It's a themed whole situation. Look at the illustrations. The illustrations are great. Yes. It's a story. You're in a spaceship that's crashed into a planet.
Oh, that's great.
It's pretty cocktail,
menu is
tiki heavy. I don't know if it's tiki, but it's definitely.
The menu is illustration. They don't have
Look at this. How do you not know about this? Yes.
You know what it looks like?
Oh, finally I found a thing.
Fraggle Rock.
It's very Disneyed up in there. Go scroll through a little bit. Yeah, this is
Oh yeah, that looks good.
Yeah. I was there.
Hello.
Yeah. Come on.
Hello.
I'm so yeah, it's
not know about this. It's funny because I'll know if I I'm following them. So I must have I've crossed paths.
Yeah.
But it's
so I was an adult Hello Kitty Cafe.
This is very adult Hello Kitty Cafe.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, actually, Hello Kitty Cafe is very adult too because it actually turns into a bar at night. Mm-hmm. Where they're like, "This is our
that.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 21. So, yep.
Oh, that looks dope. That looks so rad.
So you got your
Guess what I ordered?
birthday.
I got to get
your
that on the
birthday
short
plans.
list.
Guess what I ordered?
Got
hazy IPA. I was like, I'm not. I looked at it. It is so funny. I apologized to the waitress. I was like, hey, I'm going to be really boring and just get this beer. They don't even tell you what kind of beer it is. They go like light beer, hoppy beer. Yeah. Those are the only two options. Mm-hmm. And I go, what's the hoppy?
Like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
In that?
And I go, I'm going to be so boring. I'm so sorry. And she goes, I don't blame you. There's so much sugar in those other drinks. Which is great. But Claire was having the time of her life. And this is kind of like
Yes.
Listen, man, Joel's about to turn 17. So 16 of his, Glory's 14. That puts us at 30. That was our 40th child birthday.
Oh, my gosh.
We have done 40 child birthdays at this point that we have planned and executed. We're looking for new ideas.
Yep. We're trying to switch it up.
That just hit me. I didn't.
Gosh, I don't think of it that way.
Yeah.
And that hurts.
Yeah.
That just to think of what's coming.
We have executed 40.
A lot of money.
Yeah. We've executed 40 birthday parties for our children.
Kids. Yes. And so this was definitely outside the box.
Yeah. I have executed more birthday parties for children than like times I've seen my grandma. Like that. 40 is a staggeringly high number to be like, I need a new theme, a new snack. What are they into now? What's the new guest list? They're just gonna.
It's a lot.
Oh, give me.
That makes me feel pretty good.
Yeah.
That I have made it this far.
Yeah.
I haven't given up.
Yes. That's why, like.
Just like, here's a pizza.
Yeah, if you're still going, that's why you really feel for the youngest child, and that you just like, we're some old crafty veteran who's been in the league for 17 years. And, they're like, hey, yeah, I'm sorry. It's hard for me to get up for this away game for a Tuesday in August, but I'm 17 years into the league, man.
I've seen it all.
Yeah. I'm just like an old, the guy's been in the military for 30 years. Seen it all, man.
Younger parent seeks you out. We got to call you in again.
Yeah. Back when I started.
Ninja Turtles?
Yeah.
We got some of those plates floating around.
Oh, my gosh.
You haven't seen the things I've seen.
You don't know what I've been through.
What if you just gave...
You haven't cleaned up the messes I've cleaned up.
But I'll do it again.
Yeah.
We're like, this is a mismatched birthday party. You get like a pink candle and a yellow candle and like a couple of tokens to Chuck E. Cheese.
I think it's why by the end you just go to like, here's $100 cash. Enjoy your life.
Yeah.
You are, I don't know.
I don't know. Like, well, or you do like the dinner out or the invite a friend to dinner, or I don't know. It's tough. You want them to feel celebrated. It's also very expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
or you're like, you have a summer birthday, you can just go to the beach.
Yeah.
Or do you have access to a pool? That is nice.
Yeah, that is nice. Yeah.
You just have like 15 pool parties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the birthday party that you like, the person executing their first birthday party for their first kid has that excitement of like an 18-year-old that still believes in something in their eyes.
Like
they're like, no, man. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just entering the workforce.
Yeah, life and college and country, it all means something.
All I gotta do is pay all these student loans back and
everything's going to work out for me. Yeah.
Dream job.
Yeah. Start putting that money into my 401k.
Yeah. 40 birthday parties in. Oh, gosh. I'm
just here to collect a pension.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a moment where one of the kids was like, are we going to have like a cake tonight? And I was like, I think we had like 50 desserts each at that tea.
Yeah.
But
they're like, are we going to sing? You're like, there's nothing worth singing for.
We did not sing. Oh, well. But there was a moment.
For the record, let me pull the record. by the time you've reached the 40th birthday party, you realize that those early ones were never for the kid anyways.
Yeah.
That was for you, baby. You think that 1-year-old remembers this? Or
they don't.
No. All that kid wants is a couple presents and their friends around. And you realize that 40 birthdays in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sugar.
So we kind of pitched what we were doing to the hotel clerk because we had to check our bags and wait for the room.
Right.
And so he was very young and sweet. He sent up like 12 macaroons to our room with a birthday card.
And you're like, thanks.
Okay, but like, no joke.
Here's a time bomb.
Yes.
There was an inch of sugar.
Yeah.
He put the macaroons in sugar.
Sugar.
So I had like a plate like this big with 12 macaroons and 3 9-year-olds who had just come from a high tea, 2 lemonades each. And then we show up to a plate of sugar and macaroons. And I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
And eventually I just had to hide the plate of sugar because they had already eaten the sugar cubes for the tea they didn't have.
Because of my status at Marriott's, they also have access to the lounge. So Claire's like, can we get another Sprite? Can we get another Sprite? As they were leaving, she's like, can I get a Sprite for the road? You're like, no.
You guys got to stop. Like, that hotel had too much sugar. One of the girls was like, I wake up at 7. And
oh, there's a white noise debate. This is one of my favorites. So our family all uses white noise, but there was one girl who was like, white noise gives me anxiety.
Yeah. It was
it's like a very modern 7-year-old, 9-year-old thing to say. We had to meet in the middle
about the white noise volume. They're still young enough to like fight over who gets to push the elevator buttons.
Right.
And it was like having triplets. 9-year-old triplets, and it was great. They went to bed. That's
really what you're hoping for. Yeah,
everyone was asleep by like 9:30.
And I had the reverse thing that you usually do on the weekends. Is I had the teens, and Gloria had a sleepover, and they were sleeping in the living room. Yeah. And then when Joel got home, you were kind of waiting for your oldest to get home because you're like, I'm not gonna go to sleep with you out and about, especially when he tells you what he did. You're like, get home, buddy.
Right.
Like, we just went and hung out in the high school parking lot. Don't. A
couple employees were yelling at us.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, get home.
Taco Bell.
But then down an abandoned pool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh,
you're skateboarding in it.
Oh gosh! But then you have that thing where you just like
I don't want to know.
No, less details, please. But you have an experience where you like what it is like. My teens are home. And Gloria's having a sleepover in their living room, and you're like, well, I guess I'll just go to bed.
You just have to fall asleep.
There's nowhere for me to be in my house. Yeah, but there's nowhere to be in the house. Like when the girls are in the living room, I'm not going to just be out because you got to go through the living room to get to the kitchen and stuff. You're like, I don't know. I guess I'll just go pee one more time and go to sleep.
Yeah, and then, that's the best you can hope for.
I did. The girls were sleeping in the living room, and I did chance it one time because I like sleep in my underwear. And
what did you do? You ran?
I was like, I peeked. I didn't want to find sweats and I didn't want to chance waking up too much. I was running the risk of scarring a teenage girl seeing a 40-year-old man in his underwear. And a mid-level famous guy, no less. He's got a decent amount of Instagram followers. And
so you chanced it?
I chanced it. I didn't. If I had to turn the lights on and find sweats and I'd have been awake. And I was like, I would rather.
Could have wrapped the blanket around you.
Oh, don't take a blanket into the bathroom.
I washed it yesterday.
I used one of your sweaters. What I did, I put on this sweater actually, Mel, and I was like, that's actually worse. And she sees me come through like this. Well, anyways, congratulations on executing the 40th birthday party.
Thank you.
40 in your 40th year.
It's a year of milestones. 40 years old, 40 children's birthday parties. I think I need an award for that.
You do need it. There's got to be a plaque. Some kind of plaque for that.
40 for 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mel's 40 for 40.
Mel's 40 for 40. Weird thing we were talking about. You said this yesterday or last week was like late 30s is like a real wake-up call.
Yes.
The punches, you just start feeling the punches a little more.
Yeah, like your friends are having some like real health issues. Like you're like, I'm so sorry. And it's kind of like a lot of your friends.
Yes. Yeah.
And people are having, less kids. That's kind of ending. And that goes into it too. And kids are starting to graduate.
Yeah.
You get to high school, so they're starting to like grow up.
Yeah.
And suddenly your parents are aging as well quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it all hits you.
It all hits you.
At the same time.
It changes, like you're texting your friend and they're like, it's not like, oh, did you hear they had a baby? It's like, no, did you hear she had a hysterectomy? You're like, oh, it's that time? We hit that hit here?
Mm-hmm. And we had our kids young, so most of our friends are older than us.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of just
I'd have it no other way.
A couple years older than us, or 5 to 10.
Yeah.
3 to 10.
Yeah.
And they're kind of giving us a bunch of warning signs. And then we're like, hey, can we hang out? And they're like, not after 8.
Yeah, I know. That's harder and harder getting with our schedule that we're like late night folks. But like I said, when our kids are gone, or if I don't have a show, I mean, the last couple of nights, I was like, I guess it's time for bed. The sun has gone down. Well, now I'm still going to sleep to comedy hours the next day. But
no, it just, everything's getting harder and you have to try 20% more. Or 120%.
Our previous gen was buying Ferraris in their midlife, and we're buying therapy.
Hilarious. Yeah, that's very true.
Therapy instead of Ferraris.
I think I actually have gone full jaded on that. I've reached the age where I've gotten jaded towards therapy.
Yes.
Where I've gone full cycle on that. That you're like, I don't know about that. And you're like, no, it's actually really important. In the end, you're like, it is kind of a crock, though.
Especially if you get to choose your own therapist.
Which you do.
Yeah.
So I think the answer, it's like everything. The answer has to be somewhere in between, right? The answer cannot be anti-therapy, but it also can't be paying a therapist will fix all your problems. Also,
tell you what you want to hear.
Also, I hate that the best therapists are more expensive. Classism, baby. It's there. Oh, the best doctors and the best therapists cost the most money?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, great. So you get to be healthier mentally, physically, all across the board. You get to be better. But the answer with therapy has to be the answer with therapy has to be somewhere in the between. Like, yes, it is good. No, you cannot. I mean, make a friend.
Yeah, there's studies that you'll be happier if you talk to the barista at your coffee shop.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah,
that's funny.
I mean, there's podcasts devoted to happiness.
Yes, it has to be both, right?
At least you can drink with your friends.
Yes, you should be able to drink with your therapist. That's actually
and your barista
service. Yeah.
Yep. I just want you to know that I was back in Irvine, and that pretzel line was so long. Wetzel's. And if only it had a beer garden. Sorry, I derailed us.
Yeah. No, I think that's an interesting, listen, we have no evidence. These are just these two idiots chatting, right?
Mm-hmm.
But do you feel like at a certain point as a therapist, you would I feel like I'm projecting. I would just be like, okay, so now it's time for you to actually go change. Like, we've diagnosed the problem. Maybe we've medicated the problem. If that was an issue, that's a whole different situation. But if it's just like, okay, now go, take these actions to, I don't know.
I think it's like a life coach or a teacher or, church clergy, or a friend. You're like, at first, you're trying to control and change everyone or a parent. And then you realize you got to step back and they're the only ones that are going to change themselves.
Right.
So I think they're just like, hey, I'm here to support you on your journey. Yeah. But it's your journey, not mine.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's one of those things I've told you before, so many, and I dealt with this, but so many people who get in the business of trying to help people, one of the unfortunate problems is you end up hurting them. There's no way that therapists have not given out terrible advice, terrible diagnoses. Yes. Same with doctors, same with teachers and coaches. It just happens,
Well, and most people don't listen to unsolicited advice.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I think that's what I'm getting at is like at a certain point, like therapy is not like anything. It's not infallible. It's not perfect. Like it's just another person over there. It's not like it is a person who is trained, but not trained perfectly. Nobody's trained perfectly.
I think it's a bit of a crutch to just be like, well, I'm in therapy.
Yeah.
Like, ta-da, I'm fake.
There was a meme going around right here. One of the most selfish people you know is being told by a therapist right now that they need to make sure they carve out time for themselves. Therapy, here's my therapy is what you want to make out of it. If you want someone to go and listen to you and validate you, like you can find someone to do that. And if you want someone to genuinely trying to make change in your relationships and yourself as a person, then a therapist can help you do that. But it still has to be, and I bet sometimes that changes. I bet people go in for bad reasons and then it ends up helping, you know.
Yeah, I think it's just conversations and reflection and action items.
Well, if you have this podcast, you're all set.
Is it like laughter there?
You guys, Gen Z is moving to Texas. Yeah. I'm kidding. All right, let's close out on an email, everybody.
All right.
This email is from Brandy.
Hi, Brandy.
Brandy. We are unashamedly Disney adults. We haven't been to Disneyland due to geography, but I see no reason to feel one should have to pick a favorite. Why not think they're both awesome? Disney World is our happy place. This past spring, I surprised my hubby by signing him up for his first Disney race, half marathon, and it was a couple of weekends ago. We had the most amazing time away with friends. It was our first time ever staying on property, too. Pro tip. The secret to enjoying all that is Walt Disney World is becoming friends with people who already know how to Disney World. I'm proud to say that while I'm not an expert in all 4 parks, Disney Springs, or even a resort area, I've definitely graduated from rookie status. Pro tip number 2. The longest line we stand in is not in the parks, but the line to get cookies, cakes, and cold brews at Gideon's Bakehouse in Disney Springs. It's just stupid that we do this. Or so you might think. But we do it every time, so there must be something to it, you know. That line isn't there daily for nothing. We box up those goodies and put them in checked luggage, and then we enjoy all week on the long week back home. For the record, we also take our kids to Disney that we love. They went without their kids. Maybe not driving or flying, but who can afford Disney and flying 6 people? Not us. Both kinds of trips are fun, just different kinds of fun. You know how, and you know that going in. So it works. It makes sense that you choose against your trip, but don't skip Walt Disney World forever. Taking the whole package sometimes. Bye, Brandy and Cam. Good stuff.
Awesome.
I have really warmed up to Disney. I wasn't against it. I'm still not against it. I'm still not crazy about it, but I just, it's like we said on the that rant. It just oh my, look how happy it makes.
We felt the magic.
Yeah,
it was there.
Look how happy that makes you. Mm-hmm. Do you know how hard that is? It's great. So happy for you, Brandy and Cam. I mean, I'm trying to think if we have an equivalent. I would go to Universal Studios without our kids, just me and you.
I would not.
Okay. All right.
That's my initial pushback is the crowds.
I would choose other things over that.
I would see the crowds and I would like.
What if we got fast passes? You'd rather spend the money on something else. That's true. We walked by a park with a bunch of young kids in it the other day, and Melissa was triggered. She was not having it. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Hey, everybody. Want to give a special shout out to our As Essential as Oils patrons. That's our $25 a month and up, our highest level. Thank you guys so much for, being such great people. You're not just a great patron, you're a great person. So thank you. And you are?
Averill Griffiths.
Adam Bush.
Allison Nelson.
Galindo.
Gary Teague.
Caroline Crimmins.
Code to Grow.
Courtney Eibling.
Damaris Diaz-Stevens.
Dan and Chelsea Morell.
Daniel Owens.
David and Melissa Cox.
Dave Hoagland.
Jason White.
Jennifer Ashley Downs.
Jessica Hanrahan.
Joshua and Nikki Platt.
Jordan Lara.
Jordan Cowan.
Juliana Smith.
Lori Amos.
Matt and Sam Slosdom.
Michelle Calson.
Nathan and Jennifer Merritt.
Nicole Carose.
Rachel Wilson.
Rachel Kennedy.
Robert and Kelly Capon. I'm sorry. No, I'm going to keep that one. I messed it up, but I don't want to retake this. Are you guys ready? Here, I know it. Robert and Nellie Capon.
Stephen Minna.
And Tiffany Payne. Thank you guys so much for being the best.
Thank you.